I can't quite believe it. We are at the end of October. How on earth has this happened? Where has this year gone? But welcome back to the channel. I am here to talk to you about something that is very relevant right now because we are 2 days away from Halloween. If everybody has been enjoying their pumpkin spice lattes. Side note, I've never actually had a pumpkin spice latte. Am I missing out? Is this something I should be trying? Sorry, just a side note. But yeah, we are at Halloween. Whether you love it or hate it, you're surrounded. There are costumes in the shops. There are going to be trick-and-treaters outside the door. Pumpkins, like it's not far from bonfire night. There's all this kind of stuff happening. But I want to talk to you about something that is frightful and something that a lot of people struggle with, not just at Halloween, but all through the year, and that is the Sunday scaries. Da, da, da. The Sunday scaries. So you might just try and brush off the Sunday scaries as something that you think that you have to kind of feel it's a rite of passage when you start a big proper job, like that's just how it is. But actually, the typical Sunday scaries is a type of anticipatory stress and anxiety. If you are anticipating what is going to go on with the week, what is happening in the week, and it's giving you that kind of stress, frustration, anxiety and overwhelm as you go into the working week. So the dread starts around 2-3 p.m. Maybe you've come back from a Sunday lunch, you're chilling on the sofa and that kind of knot starts in your stomach and you start to worry about the rest of the week and what is going on. Now, hopefully it helps, maybe it doesn't, but just know that you are not alone in feeling the Sunday scaries. In fact, one survey found that 8 in 10 professionals have the Sunday scaries, and we actually found in the survey that it is the younger generations, the Gen Z, the millennials, that struggle with the Sunday scaries more than the older generations like the baby boomers and the Generation X. Are they Generation? Yeah, Generation X, the oldies. Apparently it's us youngsters that are struggling with the Sunday scaries the most. What I want to do in this video is talk you through why that might be happening and then share a few really simple and easy tips for you to take away and have a look at as you go into your new week to try and combat the Sunday scaries. Now, there can be a whole host of reasons that these Sunday scaries kick in. You might be really stressed at work already and you are going into the week knowing that you have got a big week coming up. You might do something that I have been caught out on so many times, and that is not completing something on a Thursday or Friday and thinking that's next week's problem, which seems like a great idea at the time, but then it comes to next week and you are cursing the fact that the week before you was not very kind to the week ahead of you. You might also be struggling to find that work-life balance and blend that we all kind of strive for, but you really might be struggling with that. There might be a lot happening at home, there might be a lot happening in the office, and it's just trying to find that balance of what looks right for you. Also, if you are a yes person, if you are a people pleaser, you will likely have filled your diary with lots of things that you don't actually want to go to or get involved with or want to be a part of, but you have agreed to it and committed to it, so now you're stuck. Now, there are videos that we're going to talk about boundaries and how you can change that and learn to say no in the office, but for now we're going to tackle the Sunday scaries, so let's get into it. So I want to share a few tips and ideas of how you can combat the Sunday scaries, making sure you're feeling refreshed for the week ahead. So here we go. So obviously the first tip is going to be go and run away and live on a private island in Bali, but that might not be feasible. So we're going to go with a few more practical tips instead. The first thing I want you to do is do a brain dump of all of the information that is in your head, making you feel stressed and overwhelmed and just giving you that kind of bubbling feeling within your stomach. It's like, I'm not looking forward to this week. So just make sure you're writing everything down that is making you feel like that. Now, you don't have to share this list, so if there's things on there that are kind of sensitive or you feel weird about writing down, or if they're really small things, like it doesn't matter, just get everything down, written on that piece of paper and get it out of your head. Now, once you've got that big list written down and everything's on there, I want you to think about on that list, what things are you actually in control of and what things can you not control? So you might have things on there that you're able to control. So things either projects that you're working on and leading on. If it's something to do with your own life, like you can control it. But if it's things that are involving other people, you can't control them. As much as we like to think we can control other people, we can't and we shouldn't. But it's just thinking about how can we influence those people. So it's recognize that we can't control it, but what can we do differently instead? So of that big long list of things you've written down, I want you to circle the things that you can control. I want you to put an asterisk, a little star, by the things that you can't control. And when you're having a look at that list of everything on there, what does that level look like? What are the percentages like of things that you can control and things that you cannot control? Of the things that you can control, really think about if it's things that you need to deal with this week, or can you actually just put them to one side and deal with it at a later date? A lot of the time we feel like we have to do everything right now, but that's not the case. So really kind of looking down the list and figuring out, is this something you just really want to do, or is there an actual deadline behind it? And then with the list of things that you can't control, it's really finding a way to try and let go of feeling like you are responsible for that. So in my best Elsa impression from Frozen, it's about letting it go. Now, it's easy to say for me on the other side of a screen and you looking at a piece of paper thinking, how the hell can I not think about this? But you are taking up so much mental energy and time just even thinking about this, and you cannot actually do anything about it. So is there an element of that thing that is stressing you out that you can do something about, that isn't going to solve the full problem? It's going to make you feel like you are doing something to help towards what it is that is stressing you out. So for example, I was working with some clients the other day, and one of the things that came up that they got stressed about is that people in their family are going to die. Yeah, it's a tough subject to talk about. It is inevitable, but they were worried about and stressing about the fact that that is going to happen. And in that situation, it's not about focusing on the fact that, yes, that friends and family are going to die, but it's thinking about what can I do in that situation to alleviate some of that stress. So how am I making sure that I'm spending the most time that I can with them? How am I making sure that I am keeping connected to them, or sending them a letter, or dropping them a phone call on the way home from work, or can I go and see them? Like, it's those extra bits that you need to focus on, the bits that you can control rather than the bits that you can't. Okay, I hope all that made sense. We are going into the next tip, which is, so we're going to look at the next tip now, which is making sure that you don't look at your emails on a Sunday night. Now, I know for a lot of people, and I used to do this a lot, I would look at my emails to make sure that I was ready for the week ahead. But if you come back to that thing about not being able to control things, you can't control what is going to come into your inbox. You can control how you are going to react to it. So how many times have you opened your emails on a Sunday night to kind of just think, oh, I'm just going to have a quick look to see how the rest of the week is going, and then bam, you read an email that is completely annoying, irrelevant, inappropriate, just really winds you up, and then that sets you spiraling for the rest of the evening. And then you've lost your Sunday night just by you reading this one email that has just tipped you over the edge. Now, I don't want an email to tip you over the edge at any stage, but it's going to be a damn sight better if it's happening on Monday when there's something you can actually do about it. So instead of taking the time on a Sunday night to make sure that you are prepared for the week ahead by looking through your emails and knowing what's coming, it's actually allocating that time at the start of your week when you get into the office, when you are at your desk, and spending that 30 minutes at the start, really planning out your week, going through your emails, siphoning off which is rubbish, which is junk, which doesn't need to be replied to, and which can just be deleted. The third tip is thinking about making sure that you are planning your week with you in mind. Now, it's easy to get caught up in everybody else's agendas, everybody else's calendars, what everybody else is doing, but what are you actually doing for yourself? Where are you in that calendar? Where is doing something for you in that calendar? I like to use different colours when I am putting my calendar together so I can see what elements are for me and what elements are for work. You might want to just make sure that you've got a 30-minute slot every day in there just for you, and it doesn't matter what you're doing in that time, but just making sure that you've got some time for yourself. So often we can say, oh yeah, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, but then it gets to Thursday and you've not been because work's been so busy, you've got deadlines coming out of your ears, and you've just not got the time. I'm just going to play devil's advocate here and just question, is it the fact that you don't have the time, or you've not made the time? So making sure that you're putting those gym sessions in as a non-negotiable for you at the start of the week is going to make sure that you actually go. And yes, it means that they can be moved. It's not like set in stone, but it means that you are making sure that you're putting yourself first at the start of the week. And that definitely isn't a bad thing. We've been led to believe that it's a bad thing, that we shouldn't put ourselves first, but it's bloody wrong. You should absolutely be putting yourself first at the start of the week, because if you don't, nobody else is going to look after you. Nobody else is going to care for you. So it's about caring for yourself first. And by doing that, you're going to be feeling better in yourself, feeling brighter, feeling more energized, more focused. You're just going to be on fire and ready to nail the week because you are putting yourself first. And finally, a way to escape the Sunday scaries is to make sure that you are not filling your calendar with things all of the time. So making sure throughout the week you've got some actual breathing space and breathing room to be able to get between meetings, to be able to have a 15-minute lunch break. So the final thing is making sure that you've actually got time to breathe within your working week and within your calendar. Like, do all those meetings need to be back to back? Like, how are you looking after yourself in between meetings? Are you planning in time to have a glass of water? Like, these are already basic things, but a lot of us aren't doing the basics, and that's the problem. A lot of us are ignoring Maslow's hierarchy of needs and trying to get to that next level, jump to the next promotion, kind of climb up the career ladder, accelerate your career, but you're not actually doing the basics of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I will share that in another video coming soon, but definitely something to think about. Like, how are you looking after your basic needs throughout the week? Make sure you've got some space in your calendar to just allow breathing time and thinking time. And then hopefully with all of these tips, you will be able to step away from the Sunday scaries once and for all. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week for more tips and tricks, and hope you have a wonderful Halloween. Up to me. Stop